This video is sponsored by 2K Games. No challenge is more iconic in the Civ series than the One City Challenge. It combines difficulty and strategy into a truly unique and rewarding experience. With Civ 7 joining the franchise, the new game introduces some massive changes to the way in which in-game mechanics interact with the One City Challenge. In this video, we'll delve into these mechanics as we attempt the first One City Challenge of Civilization 7 using a highly illegal and very naughty strategy. My name is Drongo, this is Civ 7, and join me as we take one more turn. With any One City Challenge, the rules are yours to craft as long as you don't break one rule. No more than one city. So here's a question for you. For the purpose of a One City Challenge, does a town count as a city? Because technically, it's not a city, so what's stopping you from having a sprawling empire of towns all feeding into a single city? Well, for today's playthrough, we won't be using towns, so don't post your angry comments just yet. With towns being such a huge part of Civ 7 though, granting your city's growth, gold, and resources, missing out on them is going to hit us hard, so we need to devise a special strategy to tackle this challenge. The biggest struggle the One City Challenge will face in Civ 7 will be with regard to growth. In Civ 7, cities need towns to grow large, as the scaling used for new citizens is much greater than in the previous games of the series. In fact, I consulted the closest thing we have to superintelligence, and it took him a while to crack the code. Having already attempted numerous One City challenges, it's been tough getting to even 12 population with no supporting towns. Now for today's strategy, we'll be utilizing a new, highly illegal technique called growth maxing. Having an understanding of how growth works in Civ 7 is integral, so let me give you the fastest possible breakdown. New citizens cost food. Existing citizens don't. You don't pay any upkeep on them unless they're specialists, but you can forget about specialists for now. The more citizens that are alive, the higher the food cost gets for the next one. The first one costs 30 food, the second one costs 34 food, and the 10th one costs 1,466 food. If you receive a plus 20% growth buff, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it would be the same as plus 20% food buff, increasing your food generated each turn from 20 to 24 or 30 to 36. However, that's not the case. Growth actually reduces the amount of food required for your next citizen. If your next citizen costs 2,000 food and you receive a plus 20% growth buff, your food required for the next citizen drops from 2,000 to 1,600. As costs for citizens increase, this compounds, making it progressively more impactful with higher food requirements. One further point you may find interesting is that these bonuses do not stack diminishingly. Normally, with bonuses like these, you would expect diminishing returns. For instance, stacking two 50% growth bonuses would typically result in a 75% growth bonus instead of 100%. This happens because the second 50% bonus would apply only to the remaining growth requirement after the first reduction. The calculation would first reduce the total by 50% and then apply the second bonus to the reduced amount. Where this gets dangerous, as you may have already identified, is approaching 100%. Technically, if we can get the growth bonus to exactly 100%, it should reduce the cost of the citizen completely, essentially giving you a free citizen. This would completely nullify the need for towns to feed the capital and give a viable strategy to potentially counter the absurd expansion undertaken by the deity AI. But there's no way to get to 100% growth, right? Okay, so here's the play. We rush for mysticism to unlock our pantheon, somehow managing to beat out the 5 deity AIs that have literally beelined to it in every single game I've played. Yeah, it ain't happening. At least, not in that way. It's actually really simple. Let me show you. We take the leader ability of Confucius for 25% growth, and we stack it with the 25% growth that we'll get from having 5 specialists through this special memento, and we take 50% from the Kamai unique civic. That's it. Stacking those bonuses, and only those growth bonuses, should give us a free citizen every turn, which in my opinion is actually very legal and very cool. So earlier we spoke about the self-imposed rules, and here are the ones we're imposing for this run. Growth maxing is legal. On top of that, we're going to be aiming to achieve 3 out of 4 legacy paths and close out the Antiquity Age with at least 100 citizens. The difficulty is deity, the game speed is standard, our skin is moisturized, and our spawn is flourishing. And what a crazy spawn this is. Holy dooly, take a look at this. We spawn on the redwood forest. So not only is that 3 insane starting tiles, but it's also +1 culture and science to any vegetated tile on this settlement. Now, we do have a little bit of a river down here as well to the south, so I'm going to be looking to try and migrate towards that position. We still want to be adjacent to the redwood forest just so that we can grow to it a little bit faster. So I'm thinking probably if we can get onto this tile, yes, we can indeed get onto this tile, that's the position that we want to settle on. So we'll hit next turn, and we'll put that bad boy down straight away. Take a look at that. We are in for it. It's not a huge river by the looks of it, but it does look like it kind of comes down this way as well. So we'll look to grow to that relatively quickly. For our start, we're going to look to try and grab a scout, and we'll take a look at what our options are. So first, growth option, and I think realistically you could potentially think about moving into the dates here, but the extra production that you're going to get, it just makes so much sense. Going for the natural wonder, of course, on a start like this where you've got a one city challenge, it just makes total sense. Now for us, we're probably going to be moving into pottery as well because we get +1 food from plantations, and we'll make another scout. In fact, I want to try and make a lot of scouts this game. It's going to be really important. We can see there's the top of the map. So we're going to go south. We're going to send a couple of scouts south. That's going to be imperative, and we already see that we've got a potential threat to our south coming through from the Seleucia village. Okay, well, we're on turn 10, and we've just picked up our next growth. So we're going to look to grow to the final slot here for the redwood forest. That gives us a great start in our capital, which is exactly what we want, considering we're not going to have any other towns in this game. It's a one city challenge here. We pick up a nice little option there. And one thing to note is we've got a tent camp down here, and here you can see there previously was one, but it looks like it's been picked up, which means we are, instead of going down to this position, we're going to come across over here, and we indeed meet Lafayette. Now, Lafayette, if I remember correctly, is a culture civilization, so we're going to hope that he offers us the culture. If he doesn't offer us the culture, we're not going to throw the research collab at him, because there's always a risk that we could meet somebody else, and we want to try and be able to accept maybe they're offering us a research collaboration, or they're offering us culture. We've got an opportunity to build our granary now, so unfortunately, we can't get it on the river, so you're not going to see that beautiful tile yield that you typically see early on with the Kamai. But we will look to try and get down here eventually. We'll have to leave one of these plains tiles dry with nothing on it, because we've got a couple of wonders that we actually need to pick up. Let's take a look and see what he offers us. It's going to be happiness, which is not what we want, so we're just going to take the influence instead, which is very, very welcome here. So we're going to continue moving on, and there we go. We actually get another meat. It is going to be Xerxes. Now, this doesn't look like it. I think this is the Achaemenid? Yes, it's the Achaemenid, which means that this Xerxes right here is not warmongering Xerxes. So we don't need to be too worried about him. We can see Axum is very close to us. Jeez, that is incredibly close for us here. This could be problematic. So we're going to head back down towards the tent camp, and let's see if he offers us. Okay, we've got it. There we go. And that's exactly what we wanted. And look at that. Beautiful. Incredibly. Oh, geez, that's fortunate. 2 influence left. Just managing to pick that up. That's the extra 6 culture. Exactly what we need. Now we can think about offering out that research collaboration with somebody because we've picked it up. So we're going to continue moving down. Our strategy here is to beeline towards masonry. We want to try and grab this monument as early as possible. Our strategy will not revolve around going for currency. We don't want to rush currency. We will get it eventually, but it's not a big component of our strategy. Our main focus here is going after masonry, and then from there, it's going to be looking to try and get into our unique civics. That's what's really, really important. So we'll dive into animal husbandry here. We'll make a couple more movements, and we're almost at our culture, or almost at our next civic, and is that the far out? Jeez, everybody's here. Hello, hello. What do we got? We got Catherine in the game as well. So we have got sometimes it does bug up out a little bit like that. We can't even give her a friendly greeting as well. We've spent all of our money, all of our influence here, unfortunately. I mean, this is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. It's always nice to meet the AI players quite early on, because they will offer you those trade agreements, and they're very important that you take them. If you do not take them, you will fall quite far behind, and we can see we've got plenty of space up here. Obviously, we're not going to be doing any expansion today, but this is definitely quite nice. So there's Chiefdom, now finished, and with access to Chiefdom, we'll be able to actually see where we're going this game. So we're going to look to try and head up towards mysticism here, though. To be honest, I don't actually think I need it. you know what? We're not going to do it. We're just going to go straight into it. We want to get to Amnak as quickly as possible so that we can get the Angkor Wat down, and then we go straight into Chakravarti. Chakravarti? Yeah, Chakravarti. We go straight for it for that 50% growth, and that's basically the game plan. So you could look to play into mysticism, but you're not going to get the growth. You're not going to get even the wonder bonus, which is actually pretty decent. We've got an option here for a warrior or a scout. We'll take the warrior, and we've got another offer for culture. Lafayette is offering up our culture. We can't accept it, unfortunately, but that's going to give us a nice little +2 bonus, and we're just getting... Look, you got to love when you meet the AIs this early on. They're just throwing you resources. We're going to be looking to take the Classical Republic for that extra bonus against wonders. We don't really value food here because we don't need food if our citizens don't actually cost any food. We're at turn 19. We've just completed our brickyard. You can see it's got some beautiful yields on it. +2 food, +2 production. We're going to be picking our next technology, of course, heading down towards masonry. It's incredibly important we get that extra culture, and take a look at this. Our saw pit coming through at +3, +4, an incredibly strong tile yield coming out nice and early on here for us playing as the Khmer. And this is part of the reason why I genuinely think they are the best civ by far. It's just that early game tempo. Now, obviously, we've got a pretty good spawn here for a 1-city challenge, but in general, the civilization, if you can get close to a river in the early game, it just makes life so damn easy for you. Things just go very quickly with the Khmer. Now, one thing to note as well, and something that's important that we talk about, is that there are 2 components to your population here. You'll see that I've got 7 population in my city, and there's 2 components. The first part are my actual citizens that are working, and the second part are the buildings, which also count as population, but they don't, interestingly, count against your population or the amount of food that you need to grow. So, as an example, we're about to grow by 1 here, from 7 going to 8. Let's just finish all of our turns here. We just want to make sure, essentially, we're just making sure that Xerxes doesn't actually settle between us. That's going to be really key here. So, when we go from 7 to 8, this is going to push our food requirement from 104 up to 185. But when we actually complete the saw pit, it's not going to change that. Even though our population will go from 8 to 9, it won't actually change the cost of the citizen. It won't increase it because it's not a real citizen. All right, we're here on turn 23. We've got access to a narrative choice between influence and gold. Now, you could definitely go for gold, but influence makes the most sense to me because it will be the difference between potentially accepting or having to reject, or rather just not being able to support a research collaboration or something similar. Now, we've also got access to a celebration here, and we're faced with an option, essentially. Do we choose to take the culture and look to try and research our technologies a little bit faster, or rather our civics a little bit faster, or do we save it and instead look to get that extra production towards constructing wonders? Because we can actually end the turn forcibly, and what that will do is that will prevent you from going into that celebration. However, I think it's probably a good idea. The sooner we use it, the better. So we're going to pump that culture. We're going to get it moving right now. And as we enter into that new golden age, we will, of course, gain access to that brand new social policy slot, which will allow us to put in the 1 hammer and the 1 science. So that's going to, in the meantime, give us even more strength. And now that we've unlocked Musong, that gives us access to the beret. It gives us access to not having to... or getting your stuff pillaged by the floods, which is quite a common thing that happens. And of course, we're going to go straight into Amnak. The idea here is we want to try and get 100% growth as quickly as we can, and often the biggest barrier to that is going to be the lack of specialists that you've got. And sometimes you can find yourself in this kind of crawl where you don't have enough specialists to get to your free citizens, but at the same time, you don't have enough essentially because of that, it creates this issue where you just kind of stall out, and you really need to get to that. Well, it's turn 29, and we've got 1 turn to go until masonry is complete. We've also got 1 turn to go before we go to our next population. One of the things that we're starting to do is build up this wall across the western front, just mainly because we want to avoid any sort of forward settle coming through from Xerxes over here on this left-hand side. So we'll try and take focus on exactly where he might want to settle on these green tiles down here. We've got the settler lens turned on. So if we stand on those tiles, it will mean that he can't actually settle there. And as a result, he won't actually consider that a place that he can settle, which it's, I guess in a way you could abuse it as, or you could consider it maybe as a bug, but I see it as a feature. All right, we've got another option. We've got happiness or culture, and of course we're going to take culture. The sooner we can get to Amnak, the better we're going to be feeling. And then we've got influence versus codex. Now, we're going to have no shortage of codexes today. So once again, I think even though we're at actually, we're at a lot of influence right now. We're going for a codex. I didn't realize how far we are actually with that. Let's see if we can offer out this. Maybe let's head out to Catherine. No. Do we still have this? Yeah, we've still got it going on. Never mind. All right, well, we've got another growth opportunity here. One of the things that I'm making sure I don't do is growing too far away from my cap, because I'm going to need to eat all of these tiles in a little bit, and it's really important that I keep everybody nice and close to the capital, so I won't be growing these tiles too far out. So as an example, this is a really appealing tile, but we're not going to take that just yet. It's important that we keep everything close, because we're about to rip all of these tiles up. You'll see exactly what I mean very, very soon. All right, we're at turn 34, and it's a bit of a waiting game at this point. We're about to finish our monument, and take a look at the yields that this bad boy is pulling in. It's absolutely crazy. Now, remember, that's essentially a free citizen that I've just received. I don't actually get punished for taking this tile right now, and I'm getting every single one of those yields, which is absolutely crazy. We've got some diplomatic options coming up right here. He's denounced our military presence, so we are not going to be we're not going to be attacking him at all. But if you do take a look at what we've got happening over on this west side, you would not be look, I'll forgive you if you thought we were going for an attack. We're not. We're just setting up camp. All right, Xerxes, don't worry too much about us. Now, one of the other things to note is we actually need to save a couple of buildings. We can't just use all of our buildings or do all of our buildings or make all of our buildings. We actually have to leave them. So that's something to note that we'll be doing. And as we just shuffle around right here, did we not just get a slinger out? We're getting more slingers out. So we're about to hit our library here shortly.
The king's fight was spoken.
And we've got access now to a new narrative choice. 25 culture. Well, of course, we're going to take the culture, but one thing to note is we should now have access to the Anchor Watt. Indeed, we do. So what turn is it? We're on turn 37 now. We're about to put down the Anchor Watt. It's going to take 15 turns to complete, so we're going to opt for it up here. Flat desert tile. We've also got rough plains, but we want to save the plains tiles. Very important to be putting, or to keep those, because we need our wonder. So we're going to put our Anchor Watt down, and now it is just simply a race to get that Anchor Watt down as quickly as we possibly can. We're also going to be getting techs that allow us to build buildings that we can not necessarily put specialists in, but use those buildings to kick these citizens out. Each time we build the building, it's going to kick the citizen out, and then we can set them as a specialist. I'll show you exactly how we do that as we're closing in now on completion. I mean, we're pretty much, this is it. We're looking pretty good at this stage of the game. Turn 37, it's feeling good so far on this run. It's turn 47, and there are 4 turns remaining until we finish Anchor Watt. It's important to note we're not going to get this bad boy sniped from underneath us, because it is not available to anybody until they reach philosophy, unless there's another Kamai in the game. We haven't met them yet. They might be over on the other island, so realistically, we're in a pretty good spot. We get another cultural exchange from Xerxes. These have been powering us up throughout the early game. We're at 36 culture a turn, and that's pushing us towards Chakravarti. That means that we'll have that extra 50% growth rate in the capital. We also have that extra 25% coming through from Confucius's bonus. So at the moment, we've only got that 25%, but it's about to all come online very, very quickly. So we'll make sure that we keep an eye on those percentages as they begin to roll through. We've got another offer that's come through, but unfortunately we don't have enough. Sorry, Catherine. We're just going to have to allow the collaboration to come through, but we can't support it, which is, it's kind of heartbreaking, right? Whenever you get these collaborations, you really want to support them, because the difference is big, right? It's between +2 and +6, and that makes a huge difference when you're looking at these numbers. Now, one thing you'll note is that we're currently at 12 population. This is also considering the fact that I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see here. There might be a couple more. We've got 4 buildings. So essentially we're at 8 population here. This is also with the 25 bonus percent growth that we've got as Confucius. And we're really starting to slow down here. Our growth is very, very slow doing this one city challenge. So our main focus here is just going to be getting these specialists online and then just going to the absolute moon. And look at that timing. Unfortunately, we're all finished for the Anchor Watt, but we'll take a little bit of extra culture. Don't mind if we do. And I think we might take that extra gold from specialists, because it's going to be very useful, because we are about to do it. Here we go. As our Anchor Watt is completed, I'm sure you've already seen it, but we'll see it again. Now, what's so good about the Angkor Wat? I'm not going to talk over the top of our lovely narrator here. We'll just skip it. We'll just skip it. But it is a beautiful wonder right there. So now what's happened is we've got access to specialists. Nothing has changed at this stage of the game, but it's about to. So what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a bit of hopping. So every time you take a citizen and you put them in a tile like this, what happens is if you put a building in that position, that's going to kick them out of the tile, and then you've got to tell them where to go. Now, our next specialist comes through in 8 turns, which will be our next citizen. However, we can bypass that if we just built a building in those slots. But if you build it, you're going to have to wait for your next one to come down before you can build again. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to buy our first one. So we're going to buy a library over here. That's going to kick the citizen out of the clay pit. You'll take a look now. We're at 298 population, or 298 food to grow. We're going to grow, and this time we're going to grow to our specialist. What have we got for options? I think we're probably... Oh, we do want to go for a bit more of a science focus now, so we'll take this one. And we take a look now. We're down to 465. And now we, again, produce. We're going to go with our garden. I just want to make sure. Yeah, we're going to produce our garden. And we're going to look to kick out our woodcutter right here. And that's going to, once again, allow us to put another specialist in. So now we've got 2 out of those 5 specialists that we need. And that's brought us down to 432. Keep in mind, we're 2 turns away from Chakravarti coming online. We're going to sit idly by here with our scout. And we've got a war declaration. Catherine declared war on Xerxes. Is that what I read? I think that's what I read. Hold on, give me a second here. We've got a little bit of goss to give you guys. We've got, yeah, Xerxes going to war with Catherine. Hey, we'll take it. If they want to be enemies, we're happy to be friends. So, at this stage, we've got 1, 2, 3 that have come through. We're down to 432. We're about to hit it. And this is where it's about to go crazy. 432 until our next citizen comes out. Chakravarti about to come online, going to give us that 50% growth in the capital. And now we're down to 151 population needed. We'll take an economic centralized government. I think that's probably the best way to go. So we'll take an economic point here. And we're going to grow our city. So we've got 1, 2 specialists. This is going to be our 3rd specialist that is coming through right now. We'll throw him in. We'll get our next civic. I think we can probably... We don't want Chakravarti 2 just yet, but we can probably move into... We'll go mysticism. Why not? At this point, the main focus here is going to be just securing that last specialist. Once we've got that last specialist, we're down to 100 population, or rather 100 food required. This is going to be our 4th one that grows. And we've got a nearby unit. Let's just deal with that very quickly. I don't think there's anything else that can really take care of it right now. We're about to. Okay, we've got 1 population left until we grow 102. And this is it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be our 5th specialist. That's it. We've done it. Ladies and gentlemen, 0 food needed to grow population. Take a look at this. This is going to... now, you want to avoid the Hanging Gardens. That will push you into dangerous territory. So I'll say that much. But we probably want to look to try and secure some wonders now. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's just move these guys back, because we want to watch this. We go from 17 up to 18, and we'll grow the city. We'll grow to another specialist. Why not? And we definitely want to head up towards our very, very important currency technology. And let's evacuate from these positions, just because we want to get away from the boats. The boats are incredibly difficult to deal with here. And we're at 18, and now we are at 19 population, and it just keeps going from here. We managed to do it, what was it, about turn 55, somewhere in that region. But we are absolutely cooking. And here, this is where the snow starts to ball, and we head towards the victory. Okay, it's turn 61, and we're starting to think a little bit more about win condition. We've gone after all of the specialists that we can, and we're now looking to grow to all of the production that we've got, because food means nothing to us at this point. So anywhere that we can combine production with science and culture, like these tiles, these are going to be great to expand to. Another cool little tip I'll give to you guys right now is if you take a look at your city and click this View Hidden button, this will allow you to actually see wonders that you can build that you haven't unlocked yet. So as an example, there might be some wonders that you could position through here that you could look to beeline to, and you'll be able to see them. So as an example, that means that we've got somewhere that we can put the Oracle down. There's somewhere for us to put Nalanda down. If you don't actually see the wonder that you're looking for, it means that there's no tiles in your city where you could actually place that wonder down. It's a cool little tip for you there. On turn 65, we've now moved closer towards our milestones. If we take a look at them, we've completed 2 world wonders. Of course, we're not going to be moving too far down that military route, but we've also started on our science and economy, not yet to start moving. But one of the things that will happen as we complete more and more wonders, with the Great Stele coming up here, and as we complete more of those wonders, and as our opponent leaders, or as the enemy leaders start settling more and more towns, we'll be able to trade with them, and hopefully we'll be able to build up enough stock for an economic potential victory as well. So here, with the completion of economics, or was it commerce? No, currency rather. With the completion of currency, we've now unlocked a second slot for all of our specialists here. Another thing that we're doing is we're making sure that whenever we put down a building, we never actually put it or turn it into a quarters. We always want to keep those buildings single slotted. We just want to have a single tile with one building only. That's the main focus, and the reason why is because we can have 2 specialists working in those buildings. That's very, very important. On turn 71, we've hit 36 population, and we're looking to put our final specialists in. As you can see, we don't have that many slots left remaining. Now, one thing to note is as we edge closer and closer towards hitting the limit, so the upper limit on science, you do risk potentially progressing the game by accessing the future tech. So a good idea might actually be to limit how many specialists you've got when you're going for a strategy like this, because one of the issues that you will have is simply having too much science, where you begin pushing towards the end game. Now, we've just got our army commander an upgrade, a really, really important upgrade actually, the most important upgrade for him, and it's a simple one. It's just leadership. It's 5% yields in a settlement when stationed on a district. So we're going to go grab that upgrade, and we're just going to move him nice, safely back here in towards our capital. And we continue to deal with the raging barbarians, but they're not really raging. They're just slowly trickling in one by one. We could go clear this camp. But we've unlocked our very important civic here. This here allows us, ethics, to get 1 culture from specialists. Now remember how many specialists we've been putting down. This is going to increase that significantly, the amount of culture that they are producing. So we'll take a look here. What could we potentially get rid of? Let's get rid of oratory. We'll put in ethics in place of it. Let's confirm that. And we'll go ahead and take a look. We've up to 70 culture right now. And of course, each one that you subsequently put in, you're going to be gaining even more culture. Now, one thing to note is you might be tempted thinking towards let me have a look and see if we can spot it. It's probably over in the civics tree. You might be tempted to beeline towards additional science from your specialist, but realistically, you just don't need it. And it comes so late in the game, +1 science from specialist, it just doesn't really do too much for you. All right, well, we're going to ally ourselves. No, we're not going to ally ourselves, because for anyone who doesn't know, when you ally yourselves, you will also get involved in any wars that they're in, and that will cancel all your trades, and it will obviously bring you into war, which is not something that you typically want. So we're always going to take the influence in this situation. It is much better, and now that we have managed to pick up this research, or this ethics mastery, we're going to beeline down towards literacy. It's really important we pick up literacy because it's got the Nalanda wonder, and this wonder is going to allow us to actually get the science legacy path. We wouldn't be able to do it without that, so it's imperative that we actually go down that pathway. It's turned 76, and we're at 43 population in the capital, and one of the things that we're starting to get online is our economic Silk Road legacy path. We're looking to try and begin setting up trade routes, and one of the things that we did in the early game, I don't think I mentioned this to you, but when we started this game, we made sure that we took, I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but it gives us +5 range to all trade routes, and this is really important for us to be able to hit cities like this. You can see just how much distance we've actually got between our capital and this capital coming through from Lafayette, yet we can still hit it. And this means that we can make a trade route, and it means that we're going to be able to grab a whole bunch of resources that otherwise we wouldn't be able to do. So we can go ahead, slot those into our capital, and begin heading towards 20 resources in the capital. That's the goal for this game. We've also got our unique merchant that we're going to be sending out towards his next city. So if we take a look here, we can probably just get it in over on this side. And at the moment, if we want to trade, we can't actually do it. You can see it says that we For Haiyang, it says you need to improve trade relations. We've already got one in use, so what we can do is we can go up here and we can click improve trade relations, and if he accepts it, which he does, that means that we can now send this trader down towards this city and it won't have any problems at all getting in here. So that's how we'll look to play from here on in. Other than that, we're just going to continue adding in the final touches. One other thing to note is that we will never build this bath. You'll see it in here forever, and that is because it's got 10% growth rate on it. And well, let me just tell you what happens. If you take this bath and you build it, do you remember what happens with Gandhi, where basically he's so peaceful that well, he becomes too peaceful that he goes nuclear. And it's essentially the same thing that happens with us. We might leave it for a little bit later in the game just to get an idea of how much it would cost if you were actually going to build or grow this city a legal way. On turn 80, we've reached 47 population in the capital, and we're slowly getting these specialists in. We're now going to begin working on literacy, which will give us access to Nalanda, which is key in our victory condition. We've also got access to a celebration, which will give us 10 turns of wonder production speed. So we'll be making sure that we put another policy slot in here. What do we got? Maybe oratory looks pretty good. Just a little bit of extra influence coming in each turn is very, very welcome. We'll finish up with our lighthouse. And then, actually, do we finish up with the lighthouse? Maybe we just go straight into it. We can look to get the Weiyang Palace. Where have we got options for it? We've got lots of options. I'm kind of tempted to go up here, actually. I'm not too fussed about the yields. I'm more worried about the tiles, because we need to have wonders that are all completed. So let's go ahead. We're just going to put this guy straight to the front. We're not too fussed about anything else, and we're going to have to kick that citizen out, bring him over here, and we're going to continue exploring away. And slowly we grow. Slowly we grow. Slowly we grow. At 48 at the moment. Is that it? We've got another trade route that's set up right here. Make a trade route. We're going to hit Axum. And this is something that's really cool. I love this a lot. And it can be a little bit confusing at first. But if we take a look here, we've got 2 incense that are coming in. Look how much science we've got in the cap. It's a huge amount. So if we were to take these out, we would be generating an extra 20 science just from these 2 incense. But the thing is, we've already got a lot of science. I don't want any more science than what we've already got, but I will happily take some culture. So we'll go ahead, we'll throw in our silk, and we'll call it a day there. It's turn 84, and unfortunately, the Weiyang Palace did get denied from us. Unfortunately, somebody managed to snipe it out, but that's okay. We'll instead look to try and pick up the Among Us Maui. Instead, it's, look, I'm sure it'll be an absolutely fine replacement. Now, we do have an opportunity right here to actually take a collaboration, but I'm going to go ahead and reject it. It's going to cost me to do it, but do I reject it? Maybe I accept it. I'm thinking I reject it because I don't want the extra science, but I don't want to spend the influence on it and then potentially miss out on something else. That's my primary thinking. So we'll continue working our way down the science path, and we've now got access to our second trade route over here. Now, another thing I will note, I don't know for what reason, but if we take a look here, you can see it is deity, but these leaders don't seem to be expanding. So Catherine's only expanded 2 settlements, or rather 1 settlement, despite having a 4 limit. We've got Lafayette here, who's 2 of 6, and then 3 of 5 here for Xerxes. So I don't know what's happened to them. Maybe they just didn't get the message that, hey, there's an entire map here to play, or it could just be that the city-states are all aggressive. And this is something that I've noticed, is when the city-states are aggressive like this, it really keeps you down. You can have games where all of the city-states, like I think there's only 1 city-state, maybe a second one, actually, I think this one might be aggressive as well, or hostile. There's only 1 city-state that's not, and if you've got them nearby you, I played a game earlier where I had 3 near me that were all hostile. Dude, you can't play. You're not allowed to play the game, and it could just be the case that they've got too many hostiles nearby and they're only just starting to... Excuse me? That's Xerxes' settlement? Xerxes, what are you doing, brother? Xerxes, you got a whole territory out here, man. You don't have to go over there. Oh, poor Xerxes. He's going to be in for trouble, that is for sure. And we roll over to Among Us Maui being completed. Ladies and gentlemen, how many does that put us at? I think that's 3 or maybe even 4 world wonders now. Let's take a look. Actually, I think it should be 3, because if it was 4, that should have been... let's have a look up here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 would have given us a progress notification. So let's track. How are we doing here? We're on course, definitely, to get this golden age. When it comes to science, we're definitely on course for this one. It might not look like it, but I assure you we are. And then economically, I think we're doing just fine here. So it's going to be a question of whether we can actually fit all these resources into our capital or not, whether we pick up some core wonders. Let's take a look and see. We've got a cultural bonus point that we can spend here on the leader attribute. We can grow, and it's time for us to pick our production. Now, I'm going to do something here that I don't normally do, and that's stacking the blacksmith where it shouldn't be put, or rather, it should be put. And that is because we want this production. We're only at 50 production, so this blacksmith right now is going to send us up to 58 production, which is kind of wild just how much difference that is. We're also going to put the amphitheater in as well because of all that extra culture that we're going to be generating, and it's really important that we have that extra culture. So we'll go ahead, we'll do that. They've already got specialists in them, so they already get those adjacency bonuses, and now we can go and secure Nalanda. We've got 2 opportunities to put it down, but remember, we want to take a look and see what else we want to go for. So we want to go for Monk's Mound, which needs to be adjacent to a river, so either of these 2 tiles should be fine, and we also need to go for Pyramid of the Sun. Actually, we don't really need Pyramid of the Sun. We need Colossus, which is going to go over here on the ocean's edge, and Nalanda. So it must be placed on plains, so either one of these tiles. So we'll just go ahead here and put it where the farm previously was. Got a narrative choice here, a codex or 200 culture. I think we can probably afford to take the culture. The culture just makes a lot of sense here. And we are slowly closing out every single tile in this city. And then you're going to start to see the stack of migrants rising. I'm not kidding you. They stack up so damn high. You'll see shortly. On turn 90, with a cruel twist of fate, unfortunately, Colossus has been completed by an unmet player. So keep in mind that while we've met 3 other players on this island, there's another island somewhere that's got 2 players on it. And one of those players has completed the Colossus. But look, it's not huge. It means that it's going to be a little bit harder for us to reach our goal of having an economic golden age. But the good news is we've still got Nalanda that will hopefully carry us towards a scientific golden age. Here with Lafayette, we'll just make sure that we ignore his request. Or not ignore it, but rather just tell him, hey, buddy, we're not interested. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, Lafayette was constructing it. I didn't even check. Oh, gosh, where is it? I don't even see it. Lafayette, were you hiding it under... Oh, no, it's right here. Oh, Lorsh. Jeez Louise. Okay, well, sometimes you get them and sometimes you get got. Unfortunately, that means that we're definitely not going to be getting the scientific golden age. And the reason why is quite simple. It's impossible to get to 10 codices in our empire unless we have Nalanda. And that is because when you've only got 1 city, you can only make 1 library. And you can only make 1 academy. Now, we do technically get access to the Khmer ability or their mastery for 3 extra codex slots in the palace. However, that only brings us up to 9, so we won't actually be able to complete that. But hey, look, at least we know now we can still go for our cultural victory, or rather cultural golden age, though things are starting to look a little bit worse for wear. The wonders are getting sniped very quickly at this stage of the game, even though we've got 61 citizens. So with Nalanda being gone, essentially it means that we've given up one of these tiles, or we've got one of these tiles that are now free. We can't put the bath on it. Stop asking. But we can put Emily Bell. We'll throw that down. Keep in mind, it's only going to take us 2 turns because we've got all of this leftover production from the previously failed World Wonder. But it gets completed within 1 turn instead because, well, sometimes numbers don't always math. So that's going to give us 4 World Wonders that we've got now. Still on target for it. And, oh, look at that. It's our first migrant that has appeared. This guy carries a nice little suitcase. So basically what happens with migrants is if there is nowhere in your city or your town for the migrant to go or grow to, then what's going to happen is you're just going to get a migrant like this. And that will allow you to take him or her and go and move to another town, or to just wait out in the existing town. So we'll go ahead now and continue clicking down. We've got access to the Pyramid of the Sun as well. I'm tempted, but You know, there's a part of me that thinks, do we really dare? Do we really dare in this situation? What other wonders have we got available? Because there's really not much left. There's Pyramid of the Sun, Colosseum, Gate of All Nations, Monk's Mound, and Sanchi Stupa. Now, we need to get 3 of these. So I think we could probably do Pyramid of the Sun, Monk's Mound, and then one of these 2. But it tells you what it requires. So you know where you need to beeline towards to actually go ahead and get it. So I think we'll do it. Let's put our money where our mouth is. We'll lock it in. We'll also get another citizen now, I think, because we've just kicked somebody out of their home. And what have we picked up? We picked up a Diplo point. I don't even know where we go at this stage of the game. I guess we can throw the influence on the palace. Makes the most sense. And now we're just going to have to put these migrants to sleep. That is what happens. You'll see every single turn, a new migrant spawns, and you just put him to sleep. That is, that's... No, no, dude. How does it keep going like this every single turn? And, oh, there we go. Migrant, quickly, back to where you go. Is there anything else for us here? Realistically? Okay, we've got 4 turns until commerce is complete. We really want to beeline commerce because that's got... that gives us our Monk's Mound. We could potentially... We don't need philosophies. Philosophy is useless to us. Other than that, it's... basically this mastery under citizenship, and it's this mastery down here. And then other than that, I think maybe over to entertainment that we've really got. So I guess in the meantime, we're just going to have to build this academy. Do we build the academy? I don't even know if we want to build the academy, because if you build the academy... Oh, you know what? You do want to build the academy. And the reason why is because it carries over to the next age. So we'll go ahead. We'll drop it down. It's 6... Oh. There's a part of me inside that's just thinking, just go for the cultural festival. We'll just do the cultural festival. Let's try and push this bad boy out as quick as we can. More migrants coming in. Don't worry, we'll grow every single turn here, and they're just going to continue to stack up. Military training comes through. Does that give us access to anything we like? The arena. Oh, I'm kind of tempted to buy an arena. It's a little bit expensive here. We've got culture coming through from Lafayette. We'll definitely take that. We've got ironworking. Not really that relevant. As you can see, we're good friends with everybody in this lobby. And so I'm not too fussed about upgrading the military either. I think that's another key component is when you're friendly, when you can cultivate these relationships by... And it's kind of funny, right? The way that you cultivate relationships in Civ 7 is you just don't offer your research collaboration until you can afford it. Or not until you can afford it, but until you know that you're going to be okay. That's pretty much it. So we can start collecting codexes now, but realistically, there's nothing in here that's that big, and we're still not going to be able to hit that important peak number of 10 codices. Okay, we're on turn 102. We've got 72 population, and the Tower of Migrants is beginning to build. No, that is not a euphemism. That is quite literally what's happening. You can see them all with their little suitcases there. We've got another cultural exchange coming through from Xerxes. We'll be happy to take it, Xerxes. And we might head up to ironworking just in case. Well, not really just in case. And we now move over towards Colosseum. We've got 1 turn left on Monk's Mound, but you'll see that there's quite a few wonders that are missing. It's quite literally it. Actually, now that I think about it, can we even get... I don't even think we can get all of the wonders now. Yeah, we can't. The max we can hit is 6. We've had too many sniped off us. And in fact, we could get another one sniped right here. We've got 1 turn to go. Now, the pyramids just got completed by Xerxes. That was never even on our cards. And that's because... Oh, we got it. We got it. So we could never have gotten the pyramids because we didn't have any desert tiles. Well, we can check what the actual requirements for it are, but it never actually showed on our city. And that's because we never had the option to actually build it. There was nothing that met the requirements. Beautiful wonder right there. So if we dive in over towards... Where is it? It's down here. So the pyramids must be placed on desert and adjacent to a river, a navigable river. So we've only really got 2 tiles for that. It would have to be this one right here. It's rough desert, adjacent to a navigable river, but we put the granary down on that. So we weren't really thinking about it. So, and even if we were thinking about it, that would delay us to get to the river. We needed to go to the river so that we could get those crazy tiles. We'd have to go the long way around. Actually? Yeah. You'd have to go the long way around. Yeah, it's I don't know if that would really work. So I think the most important thing here is just trying to pump out culture, but even then, this is going to be complete in 3 turns. So there's actually no point in us doing that. So we are basically free right now just to go for whatever we want. We could go for a bridge down here, or we could look to get an arena in. Actually, going for an arena and actually just putting it in here just to get the extra happiness is very nice. We're slowly making our way up this number. So with the addition of Monk's Mound, we've now got a whole bunch of extra, because basically the way that this thing works, it gives you 4 different slots, or 4 extra slots. Where are we? We're up here. 4 extra resource capacity slots. So that's what we're looking. And the other thing that we're looking for is we want camels. The problem is this map doesn't seem to have much camels. Much camels? Many camels? There's no camels and there's no settlements. What's going on with these deity AI? Because the camels are great. If you've got a city down here, as an example, that's got camels, and then you bring in a trader or a merchant, and then you set up a trade route. Oh, camels. It's turn 106. We take a look at our civics, and you'll see that we've got a whole bunch left that have got wonders next to their names. Unfortunately, if we take a look at our wonders, there is only one that we can actually build, even when we've got it turned on the hidden wonders. So it means that, unfortunately, even if we get our Colosseum, where are we going to put this trusty Colosseum? Maybe over here. Looks like a good spot. Even if we get this Colosseum in 6 turns, unfortunately, that means that we only get 6 out of 7, and we don't hit our cultural golden age. We've missed our science golden age. We will hit a 9 out of 10. The last one standing is that economic golden age, and the question's going to be whether we can get it. We lost the Colossus, so that's out, but we did find some camels, and we're going to be making our way over. You can see already I am en route. I am just looking to get over here. Just let me at them. We're going to sleep a couple of these migrants, and let's get ourselves some camels. I tell you what, don't you dare do it. Don't you dare do it, Colosseum. Every single turn, it's like, I'm scared I'm gonna get 1 turned on it. I know, it's always the way it is. So now that I've got the camels, I should be able to head over to my resource allocation, throw the camels in, and now I've got more slots to put in more resources. So you can see we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're getting there. We need to get to 20. But I don't see any other camels. I don't see any other way that we build that up higher. Because if we've got the Colosseum allows, or not the Colosseum rather, the Colossus. If we've got the Colossus, that gives us 3. And then if we get 1 more camel, that will get us up to 20. But I don't see any other camel on this map. There's just a single camel tile. A single lonely camel tile. That's all. Jeez. Careful, Drumgo. You're a syllable away. You're a vowel away from a demonetization right there. Well, it's turn 111. We've got 1 turn until we complete the Colosseum. We're just picking random civics at this point in the game. And we've got our final trade route that we'll be able to... Oh, there's another trade route. But once again, I don't know whether it's even going to matter, right? Unless there could be a camel hidden under one of these tiles. But we're going to need to open up a new trade route relation right there with Catherine. We're going to need to send her down a new merchant immediately. We've got another migrant, as you can see, the Leaning Tower of Migrant. Oh, gosh. It sounds terrible, but really, I mean, look at it. And look at that. Have a look at that. Colosseum is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to give us 6 out of 7. Unfortunately, we get so close, but we also are so... Excuse me. Thank you. I like that we managed to stop her in the end. But yeah, unfortunately for this city, there might be wonders that are still yet to be completed. But unfortunately for the tiles that we've got, we can't throw down any more of them. So it means that we come up empty-handed in that regard. We could look to get a couple more merchants out here on the map. We'll head down towards this angle. Wait. What's going on here? Have I got the wrong unit? This is my... No, that's not my trader. Oh, okay. No wonder. I was a little bit confused. I thought that was my trader. But no, that was not the case. It is my unique... I thought it was my Vaishu. Milestone complete. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. But just remember, even if we somehow manage to do it, as our river floods, fortunately, you didn't get the loud... Look at that. Look at that. That tower that we've got going. So if we take a look here... So each of these will give us a codex. And if we take a look at our... Great works, you'll see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 codex in here, and we should actually, we need to build that academy, don't we? Okay, no wonder. I'm wondering where it all is. We're not going to purchase it, and we'll just throw it down somewhere over here, somewhere where it doesn't give us a whole lot. Actually, we will take this with us into the next age, so we probably want to actually put that in a decent position. It's turn 116 and Catherine has gone absolutely crazy. Take a look at this. She is just spamming out cities right now. I'm loving it. Catherine, where was this energy in the early game, girl? You were missing out something chronic. At least I think that's Catherine. Yeah, it's Catherine. It can sometimes be a bit difficult to tell when you've got Catherine and you've got Xerxes in the same game. It can be difficult to tell. So we are slowly closing in. If we take a look right now at our great works, we've actually hit it. That's it. We've got 9 codecs right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that are in there. So we've fallen short just again. I can't believe this. We set out our goals. We said we want to hit 7 on the golden age here. We want to hit 10 on the golden age here. We want to hit all of these on the eco golden age. Actually, let's take a look and see resource allocation. We're still leaving a little bit to be desired here, but look, I'm confident that we'll bring it home, especially with Catherine coming up and really helping us out here. Thank you, Catherine. You're doing God's work for us. And the Leaning Tower continues to build. We are getting there. We've only got a couple more techs to go. Philosophy. Let's research that bad boy. We've got another migrant. We'll just throw him in the pile. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? Oh, God. Hey, hold on. What's that? Excuse me? You don't belong in the pile? What are you doing in the pile? Get out of the pile. Oh, gosh. Everybody back to the pile. On turn 122, we're now faced with the only choice left. It is the future Civic. We're also currently researching the future tech and only 76% of the way through the age. Now, keep in mind, this is going to close in very, very quickly. Once these AIs actually start hitting all of their goals, we take another little bit of specialist science right there. Definitely welcome. And have a look at this trade route that we're going to put down here. This doesn't give us any extra resources that we can slot into our capital. That is not the wrong one, right? Or not the right one. We want resource allocation, but you can see we are definitely coming along quite well here. So many resources up the top. And I think if things had gone a little bit differently, what have we got? Did I just see another wonder? That's another wonder. So there you go. So the Oracle, as an example, the Oracle's a very early wonder available at Public Life here. And that was available up until this point. So we just didn't... What are the requirements for the Oracle? Excuse me? Hold on. Okay. How did we not have requirements for the Oracle, Matt? Must be placed on rough terrain. Are you serious? There's nowhere with rough terrain? Have we just got a really flat city? This is a rough desert. This is a rough plains. What did we put here? No, we put a wonder here. I guess it's just one of those things that you don't really think about it. You've very much got to be aware and got to be able to plan and really consider where you're putting everything down. Well, we are at 97 at the moment. We're very close to hitting our goal of 100. So look, if we didn't hit anything, at least we hit that. That was you know, it's a little bit disappointing. Nice little bonus right here. But look, I don't think we're going to be going for any wonders anytime soon. But thank you, Lafayette. Enjoy your bonus though. I'm sure there's plenty of wonders still for you to grab, my friend. Is that another one? The Sanchi Stupa? Hold on. Wait. How did he complete the Sanchi Stupa? Because I remember the Sanchi Stupa was available for us. I'm 99% sure it was available for us. Right? Hold on. Where is it? Sanchi Stupa? Over here. Must be placed on plains. Oh, maybe it was just one of these. And we didn't really have a lot of plains tiles left. So, look, it was you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. One of those two. So, yeah, not a whole lot of options there. We've got some more migrants coming in. We're at 99 out of 100 right now, and we are on the final home stretch here with only a few turns to go. We're about to hit the future tech, and unfortunately, in the end, we didn't hit all of our goals. You know, we tried to get there. We tried to make it happen, and I think we can drop down the bath now. So now that we've hit 100 citizens, what's going to happen here when we drop down this bath, and we can actually pay for it so we can see the good stuff right now? This is going to go from 0 to a negative number. Now, you would have already seen what happens when we go to a negative number in a previous video that I did. If you didn't see that, I'll leave a link down in the description. But let me show you. Let's get the extra food. Why not? We may as well. We go now with that. Has it updated yet? So this is negative 10%. 198,637. So you're looking at about 2 million food for every citizen at the moment. So that's with the new algorithm, the new formula. Oh my gosh, there's another one. Hold on. I don't think it's going to matter. In the end, I don't think it matters. Because even if we get down here, That's future civic research. That's plus 10% here. And you're about to have a future tech research. So hold your breath. You might not even get in here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try. Oh, we're going to get there. Look, we can get there just for the one sheep. Oh, we can do it. We managed to make it right in time into Koba, into the city of Koba. We get our one extra sheep. We check it in right here. Yoink. Put it in. Oh, I was so hoping that was going to give us our next level. Have we already hit that next level? Oh my god, we're one off it. You can't be serious right now. Have we got everything? I think we've got everything. The crisis continues. I tell you what, the crisis is about to be over. Gain 1 migrant when a city is infected, but minus 25% growth in city. You know what? I reckon we could probably afford 1 more migrant. Now, does that give us minus 25%? Oh my god. Because we had the 10%. That gave us plus, and now we've got minus 25%, so we're at minus 15% right now, I think that's how that works. And ladies and gentlemen, future tech has been researched. We're at 94% right now, very, very close. Sorry, Xerxes, I would take the offer, but unfortunately, we've got no wonders left. And yeah, I think realistically at this point, that's pretty much a wrap here. Now, one of the great things that I'm looking forward to with doing the One City Challenge is actually something to do with the exploration age. So we'll show you exactly what happens here as we cross. We did hit 101. We are. I think that's it. We're at 9. Oh wait, are we still at 96? Give me a second here. All right, there we go. It took us a little bit, but we got there in the end. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We finally made it to the end of the Age of Antiquity. Our last little bit of production is coming out now, and that is the final rollover. Our stack of migrants, a mile high, and the Age of Antiquity comes to an end. In the end, we reached our goal of 100 migrants, but we fell short of a couple of big ones. We take a look at the age rankings. We can see we got 6 out of 7 on the World Wonders, 1 out of 12 on settlements, 9 out of 10 on the codices, and 13 out of 20 on Silk Road. In the end, I think we did relatively well here. We've also gained some experience. I think that's what that was. No challenges completed. No experience. And you get a whole lot of exclamation marks. Well, folks, as we take the Normans into the exploration age, there's one final thing I want to show you as we hit turn 1. Now, because we had a militaristic dark age in the Age of Antiquity, it allows us to gain 3 fully packed cavalry armies with siege, but you lose all your existing armies and all of your settlements except your capital. Now, I don't know about you guys, but look, I've seen some pretty bad trade deals in my time. That is definitely not one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this. We have got ourselves an absolute... Oh, I don't know why that's not showing. But these guys are absolutely... There you go. They are absolutely stacked. All of these commanders have got so many units in them. And, well, stage 2 of our campaign begins, but unfortunately for the rest of the world, we're going to be burning it down. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any feedback, please leave a comment down below, whether positive or negative. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like. And of course, if you're interested in seeing more Civ 7 content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because remember, there's always time for one more turn.